Welcome back to Snapper Rocks. The top seeds are tumbling in the bottom half of the third round. And we're now going to see if John Florence can change that trend. The Hawaiian will be out there in the red, taking on one of the round one standouts, Michel Bourez, the Tahitian.
We know that Kanoa Igarashi is good in the air, but I liked the rail work, Ronnie. He had a couple of nice carves in that heat, too.
He's starting to accelerate. And speaking of acceleration, John Florence with a little bit more foam in his boards this year is looking good. And he throws his board beyond vertical on that second maneuver. Out onto the open face now. And just linking. Biding his time. Just waiting for this thing to steepen. There it is. Winds through one of those smooth carves. Bashes the lip. You saw the spray falling from the sky. And he's not done with this one. Still going. Still working. Inspired to get himself in title contention. This year he finishes with a clean little reverse on the inside. Very cheeky.
Super cheeky. Little disco spin on the inside. And how does he do that, Ronnie? I mean, there was no power left in that wave, and he still managed to pull off an exciting move.
And they're the kind of turns that just win the crowd over.
Totally. And the judges. You know, maybe they were leaning on a 6. All of a sudden you're like, okay, you got it, John. We'll give you a 7. No.
That's still a lot smaller.
It's tiny.
Than Gabriel Medina and Geordie Smith, the likes of Owen Wright. They all have upward of 30 leaders in their boards.
I want to see this carve right here. Oh, that was so square. So not as much of a carve as more of a just a tag square off the lip, but I really liked how he stayed square over the deck of his board. We're used to seeing John kind of extend away from his surfboard and get that whip going. But that's, you know, in my eyes, I'm seeing some of that training paying off. He looks really tight out there. And
his equipment, it's giving him different options on his approach to the lip at the moment. And that was something that John mentioned to me. You see that little reverse to finish there on the inside, but he's added a bit of girth to his rails. He's filled up the rails a little bit. John had those really knifey boards. You would always comment on that to really count on some local experience. And John's got 2 riders out there in the lineup at the moment because he's also been doing some work with Michel Bourez. And what about Michel Bourez? I mean, we haven't seen him since the first round, but he looked really tidy when he pulled on the jersey for the first time this year.
Yeah, it's got more of a custom-shaped surfboard under his feet. You could see a different type of construction from those Firewire models. And
so he's got his pick of which wave he wants. John has to let him go. He opts to take this one. Nice floating re-entry to start. You can see he's just sitting on top of the water beautifully, but that wave, it didn't have any wall down the line. He kicked out. Let's see if John's lines up. Nice start. Just a good slashing wrap. Brings it through to the inside, throws one of those reverses down, doesn't quite stick it. Most of the time, he can easily ride out of that maneuver. But the sections that are presenting today, Ross, are not easy to just attack like that. It's kind of breaking away from you. It's not really ramping up with any kind of steepness.
That's why you see beach breaks are so good for that.
Michel Bourez, again, just drifts the tail. Kind of a tricky first turn there. And building momentum down the line. There's a nice re-entry there. Up into the pocket again. Almost gets enough wall to dig into his trademark hack. Clean cutback, really mixing things up down the line here. And again, just throwing a lot of sprays. He brings it through to the inside and makes something out of a pretty flat end section there. Really kicking the tail, and right behind him, John Florence. Big double grab. We just caught the end of that, but you could tell he was falling from a pretty high position. So I can't wait to see how he launched into the sky. Just when we were saying the air sections are kind of not that friendly, John finds one.
It'd be cool to see them just play bumper cars and speed back out there.
Oh, that would be amazing. Supercharge your skis. But he did get some work done on the outside, Ross.
Wow, multiple different maneuvers, mixing it up. Start this wave off the clean wrap, a couple of snaps, and then a big old straight air. I love how he tweaked it out too. grabbed his rail, kind of tapped his tail on the lip of the wave before he landed that air. Super original. That was cool.
The highest airs are obviously the ones that you really bottom turn into and go high up in the sky.
Right.
Basically your approach to the lip is a little more vertical. Therefore, you're getting that extra height. But John got height and distance out of that air.
And make no mistakes about it, you know, it is tough for aerial maneuvers out there right now, but John is just a freak. And let's pick apart Michel Bourez's effort prior to John. A lot of maneuvers, but because that wave was fast, you know, he kept his maneuvers going down the line. It eased up in the middle there, so he wrapped it. That surfboard is gliding through the water. He looks really comfortable and confident on it. Mistimed that little snap just a little bit, and then finished it off with a nice whitewash snap. So really good surfing, but not over the top. John's going to get the best of him there.
Great variation from Michel though. Really mixed it up from the outset. There was so many different moves on show. Projection floaters, big re-entries onto falling sections, a couple of big hits in the pocket, nice roundhouse cutback, solid finish for a solid number, a 7.67. But John, he threw the risk in. And while we're away, Michel picked off this one, Ross.
Let's see what's going on here. No doubt he's heard the score from John. And will he change his surfing, or will he stick to that rail game, that power? And just a little bobble there from Michel. Those long extended cutbacks, sometimes you can kind of fall asleep on them and catch a rail. It's just what happened. If you're surfing really well and you just planted a big air, look out for John. He's going to be all systems go in this next wave.
Here goes Michel Bourez now, without priority, so did a good job of sneaking to the inside. This wave might just light up, but Michel kicks out. He doesn't see it down the line, and he was spot on. It was a pretty short little ride there, but he's straight away into another. Gets some speed up before getting a big float down the line, and again, the wave shuts down. He kicks out. 8 minutes to go. The lip stopped and John started.
You know, up above the top, it wasn't crazy. It was just lofted out over the flats where you could really see the distance, and it just, you know, it was crucial. I don't think he could see the landing. It would look like he just basically was flying by the force and letting it happen as he dropped down. Just kind of almost took a breath in between, waiting for it.
It did look pretty lofty, which covered a lot of distance. I'm not sure if you could see just how much projection he got across that wave, but it was super impressive. 2.5 minutes remaining, and John still out in front. Michel Bourez is still after that 8.24 Ross, and he's with that priority. Yeah,
this is pretty easy going here. A couple of minutes for John, and from this angle here, you can appreciate the height. Good 3, maybe 4 feet above the lip. But look at the coverage. He went a long way. That's like a long jump right there. I'm guessing 10, 12 feet.
I think more. Just the speed. The camera's kind of going with him. So, and let's see if John swings here. So he had priority, John, but he let Michel take this wave. There's 50 seconds to go. We'll see if Michel can make him pay. This wave might be standing up down the line. This is a good-looking wall. He needs a big number. Michel needs to get going. Huge float. Nice tail drop, climbs up into the lip, again projects down the line. But you can see there, Michel realised he wasn't going to find the open face again. 30 seconds remaining, and John is charging down the line. And he goes for a massive frontside air reverse, but doesn't stick it.
I'm glad he didn't reconnect with his board, because that looked like an injury waiting to happen there for John. He just couldn't help himself, though.
Maybe he just got halfway through that turn and just went, don't think I need this.
Just push it away with your pinky toe a little bit, get that board away from you. That's easy to tweak an ankle like that. You land that kind of air out in the flats.
Well, that heat is coming to a close. John Florence, he won't be aware of what Michel Bourez got done on that last ride. But Michel was chasing a huge number, an 8.24. Surfing so fast out there, Bourez, but not fast enough to get ahead of that long running right-hander. And we're just waiting for the number to come through to confirm what we would believe will be a win for John. And the numbers in for Bourez are 4.17, and John Florence is on his way to his best result ever here at the Quiksilver Pro, past the third round for the first time.